Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back here to review another episode of NBC's Emerald City. This time it's all about season 1, episode number 3, entitled Mistress, New Mistress. So let's just get down to it. Alright, we're going to start with Dorothy and Lucas. Lucas has no remorse for what he did to Mombi because remember, Mombi was trying to kill Dorothy. And Dorothy reveals that Lucas scared the crap out of her by doing that. But Lucas is like, listen, I had to do what I had to do. So Lucas and Dorothy end up hitching a ride on this circus caravan. And they end up in the last car. And they're talking to this man and this woman, and they reveal that the Witch of the East had died. Now, we already know, they know that East died because they were there when it happened. But they try to play nonchalant and get a little information out of this woman. And the woman said, ooh, she died, and you know, she used to control the weather. So that gave me this impression that like the weather is going to be a little bit crazy now that East is no longer there. And as we saw in this episode, Dorothy can't control the weather despite the fact that she's wearing those golden ruby gauntlets on her hands. So she can't control it, so it's going to get a little bit crazy, which also explains why it snowed. Okay, we see Tip and Jack, and they are heading to see a woman named Lady Ev, who I assume is the character in one of the promo pictures who had like a purple dress with this golden thing over her face. And I was Googling her online, and they said something about how she used to change her head in the book series. The different heads had different like ethnicities or something like that. It was something strange like that. But anyway, I guess we're going to meet Lady Ev pretty soon. Dorothy wants the wizard's guard to take her. So when they stop the caravan, Dorothy's ready to give herself up. Lucas is like, listen, we're going to have to part because I don't want to be taken by these people, which means Lucas must have some sort of secret. And it must be a big secret for him to be tied to that tea thing and tarred and feathered. Something he did. Something. So Lucas comes back for Dorothy, which I wasn't surprised, obviously, and we see Eamon leading the charge with the Wizard's Guard after he killed Dorian last week, of which I was just like, this dude is something else when I saw that. But anyway, Eamon makes it clear to the other guards that Dorothy has to die because that's what the wizard wanted. So in the next scene, we see Anna, who is the new member of the Wizard's Council, walking with the wizard, trying to, I guess, hurry him up to get to what looked like Town Square, I'm assuming, so that she could show him these women that are, I think, 250 feet in the air on top of this, like, rock platform, just swaying back and forth or something. And it's revealed later that they are prostitutes from West's brothel, which is why the wizard thought that she had something to do with that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the women keep moving and moving, and Anna's talking to the wizard, and she's telling him, listen, no one knows how these girls got up there, but it looks like they're doing some sort of ceremony, and it's a ceremony of suicide. Then those girls are up in the air, and then they fall, and their necks snap, and they're suspended by an invisible rope of some kind. So Dorothy believes that she's going to be able to leave in a tornado because that's how she arrived. That's the main reason why she ends up at the Mistress of the East palace, where she meets this dude, Sullivan. Now, Anna has challenged everything that Elizabeth has said in terms of the beast forever, because Anna appears to be the one who sees the forest for the trees, and I'm assuming that Elizabeth is the type that I know everything and I am right, and Anna's just like, no. And she's like, you know, we don't even need to do an autopsy on these women to show how they died. And by the women, I mean the prostitutes whose necks snapped when they were hung by the invisible rope. So Dorothy learned that her mother was that woman, Karen Chapman, that we met in episode 1, who had given her up to Auntie M, and I didn't catch the uncle's name. And she learned all of this around age 12. So Dorothy stops herself and Lucas from getting killed by showing the guy at the door of East's palace the gauntlets on her hand. And then this dude is convinced that Dorothy is in some way the new mistress of the East. And I was just like, is she? Isn't she? Like, I'm wondering. So Tip and Jack are still on their way to see Lady F, and they're eating in what looks like a pub of some kind, and this lady tells Tip, listen, if you are not selling the goods, it's best if you cover them up. So that's something that Tip didn't have to worry about when she had her medicine back in the day. Now she has to worry about her boobs being out. Obviously, people think she's a prostitute. Different times. So Tip is having trouble dealing with being a female after spending all that time being male. Now, Sullivan is the keeper of East's house, like I've been saying for the past few minutes. Dorothy lies to him about East's death, saying that East had, I guess, an easy death, and Sullivan reveals, like, listen, you need to settle this weather or it's going to devour the castle, but in order to do this, you need to be purified. And Sullivan makes Lucas surrender his sword. And that's already a red flag, not only for me, probably you guys, the viewers, and Lucas, obviously, because Lucas is not feeling that at all. So Lucas tells Dorothy, listen, if you can't do it, then this dude is going to try to kill you. And Dorothy's like, no, I can probably do this. I can probably get this done. So the wizard is screaming at the Wicked Witch of the West, aka the Mistress of the West. Why am I not surprised? Every time he needs some information about something, or anytime anything happens in Emerald City, it's obviously, in his eyes, West's fault. Once again, the Mistress of the West spilled the tea on yet another member of the Wizards Council. This time it was Anna. We learned that Anna's mother worked in West's brothel, both before Anna was born and after, and apparently the wizard sampled some of her goods. That's a heck of a thing to learn when you're starting a new position. And West reveals that she knew how Anna's mother tasted, and so did the wizard. And West made a comment that went something like, you know, she doesn't belong to me, she belongs to you now. So basically telling the wizard, like, you can kind of do what you want with Anna. I'm just like, wow. And the Mistress of the East, in case you didn't know, is known as the most merciful and stern. I don't know what it is with West and Glinda, but they spill some major tea. I kind of wish that East had lived so we could have learned what tea she knew about people, because I'm sure she knew quite a bit. So we see Dorothy, and she looks beautiful in that crimson dress, and she has to show that she can control the elements. And during that scene, when her dress moved around her, like the fabric moved, it looked to me kind of like a whirlpool shape a little bit. I love the way that scene was filmed. I swear Tarsem did it again. All I can think of every time I watch Emerald City is the cell and the beautiful images, and just, I swear, I'm just in love with this series at this point. So the wizard reveals to Anna, who is highly upset that she learned that her mother was a prostitute, is that his name was Frank Morgan. He was just a mere man. And Anna's like, but you harness lightning and you control the giants. And he said all that he did was study hard and work hard. He wanted to be noticed, and he made people respect him. And the wizard told Anna, your past does not define you. It's important who you wish to be and how hard you are willing to work to become that. Now, when Anna asks the wizard, did he remember her mother? He says no, but I don't believe that, because I think that the moment that he saw Anna, he could see the mother in her eyes. Because there's a certain look that he gives her in that episode when they first, like, see one another, and he kind of talks to her, and I'm like, something's up. Like, does he kind of like her? I was like, what is going on with that chemistry? And by that chemistry, I mean the chemistry between the two characters. So Dorothy did that beautiful ritual trying to calm down that tornado and disappears. And she reappears in the middle of what looks like a stream of some kind. And she's surrounded by all these items. Looks like a bed, some clothes, a baby doll, and I think I saw a sink or something. And this jacket, which looked like a lab coat, floated by and it said Kate Chapman. So that's when Dorothy realized, like, her mom had obviously been in Emerald City at some time. So the wizard has to figure out if West had anything to do with what happened to those prostitutes. You know, the ones that hung themselves. So Anna starts to investigate, and she speaks to the other prostitutes, who reveal that those three women liked the clients who had, quote, erectile dysfunction. I'm just going to say the scientific phrase for it. It was funny how that one prostitute explained it, though. That was funny. West reveals that she's a cardinal witch, and she has powers that the wizard cannot fathom. Now, she's talking to him at this point. She hates magic more than the wizard does. And she said so many powerful witches were drowned by the beast forever. And West said that she felt useless. Now, Tip and Jack went to this man at what looked like a pharmacy or an apothecary, one of the two. And the dude basically told her, listen, nobody here is going to be able to make that medicine because it is a part of, I think he said, black magic. Magic was outlawed by the wizard. So this man is not about to get himself into trouble making this potion for Tip. And he tells her, listen, you don't need that potion. All that potion did was make you into what you are not. You are a girl. You've always been a girl. So Anna starts talking about Elizabeth. She said Elizabeth was wrong about everything she said about the beast forever. And Anna feels like the magic came from the beast itself. The magic didn't come from anything else. And she said that the beast will pop out and reveal the wizard's weakness. And she said that the power of the giants comes from the prison of the abject. So that's the reason why the wizard wanted that open for a short time. And Anna said that she won't tell anybody about what she figured out, but the wizard still locked her up. I, like some people on Twitter, was like, is he going to kill her? Because you know when you watch TV shows and somebody reveals a little too much information, they sometimes get killed or hurt or locked away. So she got locked away. So when Dorothy returns to the Mistress of the East Palace, she's carrying her mother's white lab coat. And Sullivan reveals that not only did Dorothy pick the wrong item, but those items belonged to the interloper. And the interloper was Dorothy's mom, Karen Chapman. I think he said interlopers, but he, in this scene, was mostly focusing on that particular one, which was Karen Chapman, Dorothy's mom. So, Dorothy finally revealed that East killed herself and that she was present, and so was Lucas, and that the death was not as calm as she made it seem. It was very violent. So Sullivan turns a knife on her, which in turn ends up being turned on Lucas, because you know he comes in to save her, and Dorothy reveals she can't fix the weather, and the next thing you know, Sullivan's running one way, Lucas, Toto, and Dorothy are running the other way. It is assumed that Sullivan is dead, although we didn't see his body, so maybe he was able to escape. Alright, so Dorothy is highly upset because she realizes that her mom was in Oz. So, on a side note, I'm wondering, with this story, does this mean that her mother and the Wizard of Oz had something going on? Like, what's up with that? And then it makes me think all the way back to the first episode when we finally saw Dorothy interact with her mother, and her mother had fallen down into the, I think they call that the storm cellar, and that cop was dead and bloody. Like, now I'm really starting to believe that Karen didn't do that, that somebody came back and did something and popped right on back into Emerald City, more than likely through the tornado. So Dorothy's like, I'm heading to see the wizard, that's it. So Elizabeth is following behind the wizard, and she's trying to tell him her theory for like the 5,000th time. And the wizard is listening, but he's really not listening. And then he goes up to his room, which I guess I'm going to call it the observatory. And all of a sudden this snow comes down. And Anna had mentioned that it was going to snow. And remember, the wizard was just like, nah, it's not going to snow. You're wrong. Well, Anna's right. So Eamon, the leader of the Wizard's Guard, finds a prescription that Dorothy dropped right after she, Lucas, and Toto left the Mistress's palace, before it kind of sort of imploded, or looked like the part of it fell down or something like that. So Tip feels like her entire existence is a joke, because she grew up thinking that she was a boy, and it's revealed that she was a girl. She knows nothing about her life at all, and she's highly upset. And Jack tries to comfort her, and he kisses her, and she gets upset, and rightfully so. And she accidentally pushes him, and he hits the guard rail and falls all the way down, and we see his body, and there's blood coming out. But here's my thing with Emerald City. What is dead is not necessarily dead. Because remember, Mombi got bludgeoned. Mombi's still alive. East got hit with a car. East was still alive until she shot herself in the head. So with this series, you have to assume that just because someone dies doesn't necessarily mean that they are dead. That's my theory for the entire season. I also think that Jack is more than likely the Tin Man, because I saw a picture where he had like a silver hand of some kind. So let's just see how all of that's going to play out. Yes, I will be back next Friday to review episode 4. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, let me know what you thought about this episode and what you think is going to happen in future episodes. I'm Sage Valentine. I'm off to watch Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. I just started that on Netflix. It's really good. I love Patrick Warburton so much. Take care, guys. I love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.